Welcome to Running It Back. We're back, baby. The Super Bowl's coming. Everything's happening. And we've been talking about how the NFL has been eating the NBA's lunch. The NBA just took Media Week.
Is anything happening Media Week?
No, not since Marshawn graduated, not since we lost the spectacle of Marshawn. Exactly. Bringing his Skittles. But since that's such a waste of time, and the Pro Bowl, although my 6-year-old loves the Pro Bowl, seeing grown men athletes playing dodgeball
Didn't watch a second.
was the high point of his last weekend.
Who won?
I don't even remember. I wasn't watching. Yeah, I can only pay attention to so much. He's playing flag football though now, so like seeing adults play flag football, it's kind of exciting for him. He's such a front runner though. I mean, he's Patrick Mahomes. Now he was just telling me he's rooting for both. He's 6. I still let him root for both. And he says, Saquon, he's rooting for Saquon too. So he's not just front running with Patrick and the Chiefs, the villains. He's also on board with the Rebel Alliance headed up by Saquon, Jalen, Antonio Brown. No.
You get an Antonio Brown show, we can go back to
This guy.
high comedy.
He could have used more self-help books.
He's hanging out with Kanye and Bianchi. We digress. Seems like we're ready to rock.
Well, this is kind of an emergency pod because of the Luka trade. Because the Luka trade changed everything. And you're such a Lakers homer that we got to get your takes on the future. Because I got to say, even today, the Super Bowl hasn't happened yet. We already talked about what was coming. And one of us actually predicted the matchup that we're seeing now between the Chiefs and the Eagles.
Would be that one verse.
I have to talk.
Fine. I'll
back
give you
and
your
check.
flowers. You did predict
Yeah.
Chiefs, Eagles.
Yeah.
I predicted Bills, Eagles.
Yeah.
You're a couple of bad line calls away from losing that bet.
Yeah, but part of prognosticating is understanding where it's a rigged game. I know we're not a political podcast.
The refs are up in arms. It would never, and I agree with them, in a split second, someone's line to say, hey, if they come my way, I'm going to call some weird fake pass interference.
Yeah. No, it's not so much of a conscious fix. I think it's you're at Arrowhead. The Chiefs and Mahomes have that aura. Home field advantage, but it's like home planet advantage, especially when at that point, Taylor and Caitlin are up in the luxury suite.
Pre-Taylor, I was listening to radio. I was like, NFL execs sit in their office in New York, say, you know what? Let's prop up Kansas City. That's the team. We want to be the dynasty. You got to give them the props. I thought it was interesting. If you think about Mahomes, this will be his 5th Super Bowl. Right? He's won 3, lost 1, 2020, 2023, 2024, lost to Brady. That was the year where they had no offensive line. He was running for his life. He had no touchdown pass interception.
He lost to Brady and he lost to Burrow, right?
He lost to Burrow in the AFC Championship game to get to the Super Bowl.
And then Brady was in the Super Bowl. Brady was in Tampa by then.
So thinking about the team, everyone talks about Mahomes. They talk about Kelsey, Chris Jones, if you're following the team, defensive side.
Spags.
There's a dirty 11.
Coach Spags, hang on, ex-Giant.
I'm going to get there. So there's Nick Allegretti, Blake Bell, another tight end, Harrison Butker, the kicker.
Yeah.
Jody Fulton, another tight end, McCole Hartman. Chris Jones, we've mentioned, Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, Derek Nanandi, who's a defensive tackle, Austin Reeder. I now can't read my handwriting. And those a long snapper. I feel bad for James. Can't read my handwriting, long snapper. That's 11 players that have been on this run. So it's not just the 4 that we often think about, 3 that we think about, and then Bucker.
McCole Hardman's even on the team anymore?
We have to look.
We'll get our crack research team on that.
And Reed and Spags. So huge shout out to the group of guys that are making another run to the Super Bowl. When you look at the teams, skill players, Eagles are skill players galore. You got Hurts, A.J. Brown, Goddard, Saquon Barkley, the Slim Reaper, Devonta Smith, who won a Heisman in 2021.
Yeah.
Then you got a nasty, most people don't remember, they drafted their defensive line is like Georgia Bulldogs from their time when they won a championship.
Totally. Absolutely.
NCAA. And they got these 2 stud draft picks who they have playing corner and free safety. So when you compare that team, in addition, read a Wall Street Journal article, did you know that the Eagles' offensive line averaged 6'6", 338.
Some
They
dogs.
outweigh the Kansas City Chief line by 26 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
More stats. They had
Yeah.
2,011 yards rushing before the ball carrier was touched during the year. Saquon had 3.8 yards before anyone was near him all year. The closest was Derrick Henry at 3.1. This team is nasty. And so on the other side, you feel like, I know this is the juggernaut, when you compare the roster with Kareem Hunt's back. Worthy's a rookie. Hollywood Brown's only played 2 games. He's hurting.
Yeah, I'm hearing now from Susie that James Winchester is the long snapper, and McCole Hardman was injured in December.
But he's still on the team.
Correct. Thank you, Susie.
Thank you, Susie. Smith-Schuster and Chris Jones. So there's some names, but there's nothing that pops.
I don't know. Xavier might be worthy of an anytime touchdown.
You practice math. Yeah, you get a giggle.
I'm treating a 6-year-old audience.
So bring it to the pot.
Yeah.
So I think the spread, I haven't looked recently, at one point it was 1. It's super close, but
it's 1.5 for KC.
On paper, you think that this should be a mismatch.
Last time I checked, Tarlin, they don't play the games on paper.
They don't. Now, if you compare coach to coach, you got Sirianni, who is highly unlikable, but he's gone to 2 Super Bowls in his 4 years. You got Kellen Moore, who was supposed to be the spot. If anyone remembers Boise State, Kellen Moore was a dog playing on that blue field.
Smurf turf. Yeah.
And he, at least at one point, he had the passing record. And then was the Dallas OC, and he was a rising star. And then went for 1 year, the Chargers, and now he's there. So it's a weird, different mix. So I would just say, I understand why it's close, but just on paper, you think for a team that runs over 50% of the time, it's going to be hard for Kansas City to deal with that heft, to be able to stop that team. Last thing I'll say, and I'll let you talk finally.
Please.
Is there's a little bit of underdog. Jalen Hurts, he gets a lot of grief. There's some games where he made through for 140 yards, but then maybe has 2 touchdowns. If you look back at the last Super Bowl they played in, he had 4 total touchdowns, 304 yards of passing. It was 1 fumble.
Critical turnover.
1 critical turnover that turned the game.
In the 4th quarter.
I give you all that to say, I know that money's on the Chiefs. I was hedging before, but I'm going with the underdog. I'm going with a Hurts. I like the redemption story with Saquon. I think the Chiefs are going to have trouble holding the line against Eagles. So I'm going Eagles.
Going Eagles. I think I'm landing on the Eagles hedge myself. I still have some leverage positions betting long on the Chiefs, but I just feel like, I know it's not a political podcast, but they're trying to be the villains. They're trying to make fetch happen. They're trying to say we're the bad guys. Now they're sucking up to the president who's going to be present in New Orleans. I think the anti-Kaepernick mojo, the underlying redemption story for Jalen Hurts, and just the heroic rise of Saquon. I've been watching a lot of Get Up lately on ESPN, Get Up, and a little bit of First Take. I can't see another round of slurping the Chiefs. I just can't see it happening. They've been going too hard too long. I think they're over-indexed on KC. I'm going in hard with my Eagles hedge because we ain't got time for more of these overdogs winning.
I wonder if the underdog was coming back.
It's time for the underdogs, for the Cinderella story to come through, especially because I still can't believe this on ESPN. It's like they're a 56% chance to win based on whatever AI and machine learning they got under the hood. And then they're a 1.5 underdogs. Something's not right there. So yeah, I think we're doubling down there, Tarlin. I think I'm with you. Grease the polls in Philly. People going to be wilding. There's better rioting in Philly. Hopefully everybody's safe. Riot safely.
Stay safe and don't follow what happened in Vanderbilt.
Safe bet right now is that there will be rioting in Philadelphia.
Regardless. And you know who's going to start it? Giants fans. We leave you score?
I would say 31-28.
All right. I'm going 27-24. Eagles.
Yeah.
Barkley with the MVP. And Mahomes will go to 3-2.
Although, as much as I'm anticipating those first takes and get ups, I'm also ready to suck it up and congratulate the Chiefs when that happens. So anyway, NFL, some people are boycotting it now. Have you heard this? People are getting up in arms about the NFL. That's a bridge too far from me. I don't
What are you
care.
talking about? It's still the most watched programming.
People are saying the ratings are going to be down this year.
Whatever.
I don't believe it. I feel like we got nothing else going on, and this whole podcast was founded on escapism in sports when the reality of everything else sucks. So we gravitate more into sports. So that's kind of my read on this. And I'll be avidly watching it, especially because I have a budding sports fan, although he's more interested in the halftime show.
Of course. I went to make sure I got my wings on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Marinating tomorrow.
Yeah.
Rallied a bunch of high school buddies and families. Will be all together.
Out in the yard, on the backyard, are you going to get the
No, I'm driving down south. So, wings, some NA, and maybe a fireball shot here and there. Isn't that the way to do it?
Yeah. And you're bringing wings.
I'm bringing the wings.
That's smart. I like where you're going with that. So everybody have a safe Super Bowl out there. We're going to ship this thing fast, so we excuse any awkwardness to the edits, but this is going out. Get the people what they want.
Give them what they want.
You get more Super Bowl takes from me and Tarlin heading in. All bets are off. Expect the unexpected. Philadelphia Eagles, money line. Saquon, surprises, Super Bowl MVP.
Speaking of that, one more question for you.
Yeah.
Who was your MVP in the NFL this past year? Who was yours?
It was probably Saquon. I'm tired of the quarterbacks. I'm a big-hearted Giants fan. We should have fired our front office after that nonsense, and the fact that we didn't is a whole nother episode about like a lack of accountability from NFL ownership. Mara's too nice a guy. But yeah, people are all up in arms about Lamar not getting it, all that stuff. It's all behind the scenes, popularity contests, writer votes, BS. Does anyone really care? I mean, I guess Josh cares because he gets an extra $1 million, right?
Is that what it is?
I think he had a bonus. Yeah.
By the time we pod next, maybe we'll find the one writer who left Ichiro off his Hall of Fame ballot.
Right. And also the atrocity of Eli Manning not going in first ballot Hall of Famer.
I'm okay with that.
I'm actually okay with it too. Part of his grace is like he understands that he's not like absolute top tier. That's part of what makes him appealing.
Dude, my older brother's always been better than me, but I have 2 championships.
Yeah, he's an everyman. And he's funny. I don't know if he's funnier than Andy Reid's Nuggies commercial, but he's up there. All right, man. Well, thanks for doing it again. We're back, baby.
It's fun talking about the playoffs.
It's
fun talking about the Super Bowl. It's fantastic. The NBA is relevant again.
Yeah.
This was their moment after Christmas, the Christmas disaster, where no one was talking about the NBA. They won a week. Yeah. I'm happy to know I don't know any of the players' favorite cereal or any of the other names of their dogs and none of the nonsense. I have not spent a second. I don't care.
Yeah.
And we'll show up on Sunday. Expect some good commercials. They'll be free of insurance commercials. Those will be gone. Commercials and a good game.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it. We'll be back again soon. Subscribe. Let your friends know we're coming back on the regular. This is Running It Back. Thanks for listening.